Chavrusa Daf.
Okay, we are on Nazir and Beis Amid Aleph. There's 3 Mishnayos on the daf, and we are going to start with the first one about shampoo. Nazir Chayfef
Shampoo.
Umis Fasface Avaloi Sirik. A Nazir may shampoo the hair of his head and may separate the hairs by hand, but he may not comb them. He's allowed to use cleansing agents such as natron and earth. And he may separate the hairs by hand, but he may not comb them. A Nazir is forbidden to remove hairs from his head in any manner. Although shampooing his hair or separating by hand is liable to remove some hairs, these activities are permitted to the Nazir since any removal of hair that results is purely unintentional.
Right. Why not then combing?
Combing is destined to do that. More chances than not, I would imagine. But let's see. Whose view is reflected by the Mishnah's ruling that a Nazir may shampoo and separate the hairs by his hand? Rabbi Shimon the Amar Davar She'enim Iskavan Mutter. It is the view of Rabbi Shimon who says that something unintended is permitted.
Ooh.
It's like separation of the Leinechalei, right? Avaloi Sorik Asan L'Rabbanan.
Same guy.
18. In regards to all laws of the Torah, Rabbi Shimon holds that one may perform an act that might result in a forbidden consequence, as long as one did not intend the forbidden consequence. Thus, even though shampooing might remove some hair, it's permitted for another since his intention is to clean his hair, not to remove any of it. Aval loisayrik asan l'rabbanan. However, the Mishnah's very next ruling, but he may not comb, apparently accords with the Rabbanan, who holds that something unintended is forbidden.
Right. So,
Reisha Rabbi Shimon v'Sefer Rabbanan. I guess when you say combing, there's some
to them are unintentional. Whether you're shampooing, you're running your fingers through your hair, or you're combing, in each of the cases, you just want your hair to be straight. You're not intending to rip at your hair. So why? Like on the one hand, it looks like you're holding like Rabbi Shimon that Davar She'enim Iskavan is mutter. The other hand, sounds like you're going like Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbanan.
And for the Gemara, I'm a Rabba Kula Rabbi Shimon. The entire Mishnah is consistent with the review of Rabbi Shimon. So why is combing forbidden? Kolasari, because whoever combs his hair, Laser Niman Mudul Dalois Biskavan, intends to remove dangling hairs. So the idea of combing is not just making your hair straight, but when you make your hair straight, your idea is to remove any hairs that don't have a proper place, that are dangling, that are not latching on.
Dangle hairs.
So it's all according to Rabbi Shimon. By the way, some of the Mishnah, the Gemaras before this that we didn't record, does mention Rav of Barnish. He makes a return.
You had a return of the Rav of Barnish?
Not only that, first of all, Rava himself spoke to Rav of Barnish.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Bizarro world.
Rav of Barnish. And then, see, I did some notes here.
Nice then.
But then, there was also Rava spoke to Rava, the son of Mishar Shia. There was another Rava. 3 Ravas in this Gemara.
Wow, the battle of the Ravas.
Yeah. Okay, next Mishnah. Rabbi Shmuel Omer. Lo yachaf ba'adama. The Nazir may not shampoo his hair with earth. Ibnei shemasheres es hase'ar, because it causes the hair to fall out. Rabbi Shmuel agrees with Rabbi Shimon that something unintended is permitted. Nevertheless, he disputes the previous Mishnah and forbids shampooing with earth, for in his opinion, shampooing with earth inevitably removes hair. Accordingly, shampooing with earth is forbidden, even though the person does not primarily intend hair removal. So he is a bit more machmer. Shampooing with earth isn't, of course, the hair to fall out. So you're right, you don't intend it to, but still, that's what's going to happen. You're not going to, of course, Rabbi Shmuel would say that you're not allowed to comb, but okay. Ibahu, they inquired, does the Mishnah state that shampooing with earth is forbidden because the earth actually being used causes hair to fall out? Or does the Mishnah perhaps state that shampooing with any earth is forbidden because of that type of earth, which causes the hair to fall out? So at the cusp of it, it looks like this is the same question. Does the Mishnah state that shampooing with earth is forbidden because the earth being used causes the hair to fall out? Or does the Mishnah perhaps state that shampooing with any earth is forbidden because of that type of earth which causes hair to fall out? Okay, so we have a question. What type of... is Rabbi Shmuel saying stay away from earth entirely? Or if you found the Lamai Nafkamina, what practical difference does it make if you find a case where earth, going to Ika Adam Delay Macha, where earth does not cause the hair to fall out, then you are going to be able to use that. If you say that the Mishnah states it's earth that causes the issue is earth that causes the hair to fall out, then where you find earth that does not cause the hair to fall out, then it's good. But if you say that the Mishnah is forbidding earth because of that specific because earth causes, because of that type which causes hair to fall out, it's a little hard to read, light. Then a Nazir may not use any type of earth at all because certain types of earth definitely dislodge hair. Rabbi Shmuel forbids use of all types. It's the bad shampoo. It's bad earth that will make all. Even those that do not do so, as a precautionary measure to prevent a Nazir's use of the type that.
So is it saying that everyone agrees that there are certain types of earth that won't take your hair out? The question is, are we geyser from like the ones that do take your hair out? Because
this is all in Rabbi Shmuel. When Rabbi Shmuel says that you're not supposed to use earth, is it just like a klal and stay away from all types of earth, even though you might find some earth? Or he means don't use earth, that will dislodge your hair. Oh, but if you found that African earth that will not dislodge it, then kol hakavod.
Exactly.
Take it. Okay, you're going to take over the third Mishnah on this stuff. Go ahead.
Right. Punishment for a Nazir. Punishment for a Nazir who deliberately violates his Nazir's lashes. As a rule, the penalty of lashes cannot be incurred unless the offender receives a legal warning. Hasra. That is, he must have been told immediately before he committed the crime that his intended act is forbidden and which punishment it carries. Using the case of a Nazir as a paradigm, the Mishnah discusses the law of Hasra, warning, as it pertains to the repeated commission of a crime. Nazir Shin, Tracy Yain Kolayim. A Nazir kept drinking wine all day but was issued only one warning. It's liable to only one set of lashes. Amrulai al Tisha al Tisha. He said to him, do not drink. Do not drink. I.e., he was issued, several separate warnings. Okay. By the way, note 25, the language of the Mishnah do not drink is abbreviated. A legal warning must include mention of the penalty that the crime carries. In our case, example, valid warning would be, do not drink, so that you will not be liable to lashes. Okay.
The alternative approach is that the first one has do not drink because you'll be liable to lashes, and every subsequent hasra is just do not drink. Like you don't have to repeat the penalty as long as you're told them not to do it.
Cool. Nice. Fine, but what happens if you were warned on each of them, then you're going to be chayav. A Nazir who kept shaving his head all day, but was issued only one warning. Kept saying it to him, seven warnings. He's liable to a separate set of lashes, each act of shaving after.
Let me ask you a question. If someone said to him, if he was shaving, right, and they said, do not drink, like...
Drinking was shaving?
No, he was shaving, but they said the other hasra to him. You think that there's any merit in it?
I don't know. I mean...
Or like the first one they said, do not shave. It was a good hasra. And then they said, do not drink. Like you can learn out from the do not that should be hasra. Interesting. Okay.
Well, I think that was also just saying that you need to know what the punishment is. Now, I guess we say, since we already told him the first time when he told him not to drink, he knows what the punishment is. You have to say it again. The punishment. You still have to say, do not drink.
Or just do not.
Or not.
Not, right.
It's like the first, if it goes back to the first mission, Nazir. Like, you say like a nickname, you just say like, Yad. Yadais.
Right, like, maybe that's enough, Hasra.
Nizik. Okay. So, contaminating himself with the woman corpse all day. Right.
He works in the basic forest. And he's just like, I need the money, bro. And they're like, no, stop it. You're a Nazir. He's like, I need the money. It's not like, guy's like, has issues and he's running clutch dead people.
You know
why?
what?
Paint the scenario where it's feasible for him to want to touch dead people.
He like can't stop himself from doing what's Chavrusa Daf.
Right. Like, come on, I know there's a plague, but you gotta. He's like, no, they need me. They need me. They don't know how to do it. He's like a control freak. Okay.
Okay, so you basically have this Mishnah. There's the three halachas of Nazir, and it says the same thing for each of them. And which is, if he was only warned once on wine, and then he drank wine all day, he's only chayav once. If he was warned before each time he drank the wine, then he's chayav. And the same thing for if he was warned before Kaneser, he was warned before being Matam on Mesim. Okay, let's look at the Gemara. There are three ways in which a person can contract tuma from a human corpse. 1, mago, touching a corpse. 2, masa, carrying a corpse.
Rasa is not necessarily maga, right? Like if you're carrying the box, I would imagine.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's maga.
There you go. Pole bearers, oil, or tumsai. Roof association with the corpse. Being in a roofed building that contains a corpse. The Gemara presents a view that distinguishes between these ways with regard to a Nazir who repeatedly contaminates himself.
We learned before there was an earlier daf which talks about like the ayho is not only in a roofed building but also like if I think if like the corpse is on top of you, like there's an act like that's also something to do with ayho. Like if you walk under the corpse.
It's in your airspace, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Okay.
Itmar. Amar Rabba Amar Avuna. Mikra Mole Diber Hakasav Lilyatama. A thorough formulation is used by scripture when it states Lilyatama, that a Nazir may not contaminate himself. What's a Mikra Mole Diber? Let's see. It says Pasuk Midbar. A Nazir may not contaminate himself with them in their death. This verse prohibits all the means through which it is possible to become contaminated from a corpse, including entering a roof building that contains a corpse. Do we see the full pasuk anywhere? I don't see it. All right, Kishu Amr Layavai. When it says he may not come upon a dead person, he may not enter a roof building that contains a corpse, Scripture teaches an additional prohibition. Nazir al-tama. First verse, he may not contaminate himself, serves to warn a Nazir against contracting tama from the corpse. Nazir al-aviyah, in the second one, he may not come upon, serves to warn him that there's an additional prohibition against entering a roof building. So the second one is a warning against entering it. So one's a warning against becoming tummy. Another one's a warning against entering the building. Thus, if a Nazir contracts tumma from a corpse by any means and then enters a roof building that contains a corpse, he's liable for 2 transgressions.
Let's say that again. If what?
So basically, since the pasuk is saying each of these different types of tumma, if you became first tameh by like touching a body, and then you became tameh by going under the canopy of a body, each of those are like different tummas, and you're going to be chayav in both of them. You don't say, oh, you're already tamei, so you're putter. You get tamei, you get double tamed, and get the double of the iser. Oh, tumah b'tumah light, but if a Nazir contracts him by a corpse by any means, and then contracts him again by some means other than roof association, he's not liable for the second act. So you need one type of tama, and then having tumas ayil, you get two chiyuvim.
So if you touch it and then you enter, it's 2 lavan. If you touch it and then enter, it's 2 lavan. But if a nazir touches it,
and then carries it, it's not.
oh, the second lav has to be ayil.
Yeah.
No, the first lav has to be. Can the first lav be ayil and the second lav be ayil?
Would that be considered like the two? It seems like it said, by any means, by any means. So it sounds like, as long as the second one is roof, then your chayev will.
That's what the Torah says.
Yeah, because the mikro malay deeper. Well, do you have the pasuk on the side? I could flip.
Yeah.
40. Can you read it?
What's the?
Well, it has a lead top. Oh, it's Bamidbar 6-7.
Yeah. La'aviv l'imay la'achiv la'achoso lo yitama lahem b'moisam ki nezer elokav al rosho. Lo yitama lahem b'moisam ki nezer elokav al rosho. And then the pasuk before that says, Kol yemei hazir la'Hashem al nefesh meis lo yavad.
So I'm not sure what exactly we learned from the pasuk.
So the Gemara presents a view that distinguishes between these ways with regard to Nazir repeatedly contaminates himself. So yes, there are 3 ways in which a person can contract his tumah, but if you have a case where someone contracted tumah by a corpse, and then contracts tumah again from another, from carrying, it's not a second act. Interesting. There's something about the roof association which is separate. Okay. That was Rabba Bar Huna. It was Rabba. He said it in the name of Rav Huna. But Rabbi Yosef Amar, Halim Amar Rav Huna Filu Tumah V'Tumah. I swear by God, Rav Huna holds that even if another contracts tumah from a corpse, and then contracts tumah again through some means other than roof association, he's also liable for 2 transgressions. Damar Rav Huna, the second transgression does not have to be Iho.
All right.
Damar Rav Huna, Nazir Shahya Amid Beis HaKfaros. If a Nazir was standing in a cemetery, and they extended it to him, his relative's corpse or the corpse of another, and he touched it, chayev, he is liable to lashes for touching the corpse. I know why is he liable? Since he was standing in the cemetery, he was already tamei before he touched the corpse. Elalav shmami no. Surely one can learn from this. By the way, if he's standing in a cemetery and he became tamei, okay, I guess when you go into a cemetery, there's a certain nega here.
I would actually think that that's the oil.
Oil?
Yeah.
Oh, because you're standing over.
You're standing over graves.
Right. Okay. El shmav mina amar Rav Huna afilu tumah v'tumah. Rav Huna holds that even in the case where another contracts tumah from a corpse and then contracts tumah again, even through some means other than roof association, he is liable for 2 transgressions. I can answer back, no. According to Rav Huna, you need one of them to be oil in order to be 2. In this case, you have oil when you walked in, and now you have naga, so you have 2. Not necessarily that it's 2 separate. I'm just trying to make the rabbi and the Rabbi Yosef to stimmen in Rav Huna. I don't like machloikis. Okay, now Rav Yosef's version of Rav Huna is challenged. Esvei Abai challenged Rav Yosef's version from the following brayso: Koyin shahay Elohim mace munach al ksefai. If a koyin had a corpse on his shoulder, same applies to a Nazir. Many of the details of the law that a Nazir may not contaminate himself are derived through a gzera shava from the passage about a koyin. The kohen had a corpse on his shoulder by shitulei mesu mes achar another way, and they extended to him his relative's corpse or the corpse of another, and he touched it. Yachal yev chayiv. One might have thought they would be liable for touching the second corpse. He will not profane to teach that. This prohibition applies only to one who has not already profaned. The law forbidding a kohen or another to contract tumah from a corpse applies only where he profanes himself by doing so. He's already tummy here. Therefore, a person such as this one, a kohen who has a corpse on his shoulder who is already profane, is excluded from this prohibition. From this brayso, it appears that, contrary to Rav Yosef's version of Rav Huna's view, if a Nazir contracts tumah twice, he's not liable for the second act because he has already profaned at that time.
Yeah, it's like, how could you get tameh more than once? You know, the act of becoming tameh is... Once you tameh, that's just meant that people's you want. And that's what this is showing.
Okay, but Rav Yosef said, Rav Huna actually said, if a Nazir was standing in the cemetery and extended into his relative's corpse or the corpse of another, and he touched it, he's liable. Like,
okay, but you have Raisa that's disputing that. So how could he have said that?
right, maybe you didn't hear correctly. Rav Yosef. Also, it says, I swear by God. Like, that's intense.
So intense. Have you seen that?
We're going to need clarity here. Amalei raises that to buy the six shelach masnisa, but our Mishnah poses a difficulty to you. Titan, where we learned in our Mishnah, like they've gone to war here. By the way, I swear that he has like a brisa, and he's like, oh really? I have a Mishnah. Like they're just like we're not getting clarity on the different pieces. We're just like one upping the next one.
I like it. I'm honestly enjoying this.
Omer Rav Yosef said to Abai, "V'sik shelach masnisin," but our Mishnah poses a difficulty to you. The Tnan, for we learned in a Mishnah, how you mitamel mesim kol yom, a Nazir who kept contaminating himself with human corpses all day, but was issued only one warning, ein chayiv ela achas, is liable to only one set of lashes. Amar lu al tatame, but if they said to him, "Do not contaminate yourself, do not contaminate yourself," he was issued several separate warnings. Chayiv ela achas va'achas, he is liable to a separate set of lashes for each act of contaminating himself after a warning. Now, according to your Abaya's approach, why should he be liable for each act? He was already tummy when he committed each act after the first one. This proves, as I or Yosef maintain, that a Nazir is liable for each successive act of contracting tummy from a corpse, regardless of whether or not he was tummy at the time. But you will argue there's a contradiction between the Mishnah and the Brisa, vis-a-vis, according to the Mishnah, if a Nazir touches the corpse repeatedly, he's liable for each act, where according to the Brisa, he's not liable after the first one, like Kasha. It's not a difficulty, because a distinction can be drawn between the Mishnah and the Brisa, kan bichibur. And here, the Brisa, the reference is to one who was in contact with the corpse. He was still touching the first corpse when he touched the second one. So therefore, it was all one naga.
Okay.
And that's why in that brisa,
You're not chayiv.
you're not chayiv on the second one. Here, the Mishnah,
each and every one,
is the reference is to one who's not in contact with the corpse. He let go of the corpse and retouched it again. A Nazir is not liable for contaminating himself a second time unless he raises his level of tumah by doing so. According to the law of a tumah while in contact, if someone touches the corpse, lets go of it, and then touches it again, he does indeed raise his level of tumah when he renews contact with the corpse. But if he touches one corpse and then touches another corpse without letting go of all, then he does not raise his level of tumah. Hence, the Mishnah, which speaks of the case where the Nazir let go of the corpse.
so there is such a thing as raising the level of tumah. It's not like once you're tummy, you're tummy. You
Right.
can actually raise your
rules that the Nazir is liable for each act of combination. The Bryce, however, which refers to one who is still touching a corpse when he touches the second corpse, rule that he's not liable. Okay, fine. So this Bryce is good with the Mishnah. The Mishnah is good, but if Rav Yosef said that Rav Huna, Rabbah initially came and said you could get to lavin when the second is the oil, right? And then Rav Yosef came and said that I just want to remember what Rav Yosef said. I swear by God, Rav Huna holds that even a Nazir contracts Tumah from a corpse and then contracts Tumah again through some means other than roof association, he is liable for true transgression. If Nazir was standing in a cemetery and extended him his relative's corpse, the person and he touched it, he's liable. Oh, so we're still not good with that because we have a stira in Rav Huna. According to Abaye, according to Rabbah, he says according to Rabbah you need oihel. You could be over to lavin when the second is oil. When the second lav is oil. According to Rabbah's explanation, the more starter of Rav Huna said, you know how you can get to lavin if the second one is oil. And Rabbi Yosef said, no, I swear by God, Rav Huna said that you don't need it to be oil, or so we think. You can even do naga and naga, and it's to lavin.
Right.
And then we tried to explain it. He was standing in a cemetery, so he's already tummy before he touched the corpse. Surely one can learn from this that Rav Huna holds that even in a case where another contracts Tumah from corpse and then contracts Tumah again, right, it's two separate, he's liable. So we still aren't clear in Rav Huna as to whether or not does oil need to be the second in order to be chayiv and tulavin, or any of the naga, carrying, or oil.
But I don't think it's a question on Rav Yosef anymore, right? It's not a question on Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef answered.
Correct. Rav Yosef answered it, but we have two competing explanations of what Rav Huna said.
Yes, that's true.
Rabbah and Rav Yosef. So
Yeah.
we need some clarity here. Or, especially if someone's going to swear by God, right? Rav Yosef's answer is based on the premise.
Oh, so we're not done.
Oh, but we were.
Oh, looks like we are continuing this discussion. All right. I gotta go in 5 minutes.
Okay. Rav Yosef's answer is based on the premise that the law of Tumah while in contact is a scriptural law. The Gemara challenges this. Okay, Tumah while in contact.
Like you're touching one corpse and then you touch another one. You increase the level of time.
Note 14. The law of Tumah b'chubur. Tumah while in contact states that if Reuben touches Shimon while Shimon was in contact with the corpse, Reuben becomes tummy for 7 days. Whereas if Reuben touches Shimon after Shimon withdraws from the corpse, Reuben is tummy only until that evening. Thus, Shimon's level of tumah is considered to be higher when he's contacting the corpse when he's not. I guess that's a scriptural law, right?
Oh, wow. Okay. That is definitely different than what I thought it was. Yep.
Okay, so this idea is obviously midiraisa, right? Right?
Yeah.
If you touch one, but if you let go, then like this whole idea of whether you're still touching is going to be
Whether basically that toma transfers, right? Is that a deraisa?
according to Rabbi Yosef, he's referring to it as that it's a deraisa. Where does he know that? Or Rabbi Yisrael Bar Yosef Rabbi Yanai. Rabbi Yisrael Bar Yosef has said in the name of Rabbi Yanai, they did not say that the law of Tumah while in contact applies except with regards to Truma and sacred food. But with regards to Nazir, or one who was making a Pesach offering, this does not apply. That is, if Reuben touches Shimon while Shimon is in contact with the corpse, Reuben is tummy for the next 7 days with regard to eating Truma and sacred food, but not with regards to Nazirus and the Pesach offering. If you say that the law of Tumah while in contact is midiraisa, what is the reason for the distinction drawn by Rabbi Yanai?